I'm asking today, will the law director make this financial disclosure for the record, or must we seek a formal opinion from the state to ensure our local government is operating within the integrity we expect? They were wasting citizen time when I bring up a question of ethics. That's inappropriate, and him up there smirking and smiling right now in the smart-ass way he's doing it is inappropriate. It's not professional. I won't pay somebody $10 for that, certainly not $2.85 an hour, to get up there and laugh at a citizen raising a legitimate concern.
Can he finish?
You run the meeting.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, thank you. And to the extent that I take the bait, I apologize, because I don't want to do anything or say anything that reflects adversity on this township or the trustees.
On video, he talked about wasting people's time, and I think it was directed at a shot at me that was a low ball shot. He ought to be showing some respect. And if you need a lesson on respect, I'm glad to give it for free, sir. It's disrespectful what you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
And you want to get up like you're going to use force upon me for exercising my freedom of speech?
I would just say to the public.
You, yes.
We appreciate.
Is that what you're doing?
And the others, and you, Mr. Gages, thank you for coming up.
Thank you for listening. I apologize if I was out of line in any way. I'm very passionate about my work, and I get put down a lot. Last person I won't put down by is someone who I'm paying to help, $2.85 an hour for someone whose services, if I lived in a free society, I would never be a participant in paying that
I
salary.
agree 100%. But more so, thanks for coming up and venting it here. This is where you get stuff done, you know, so we appreciate that.
Thank you. Good evening, trustees. My name is Rich Gages. For the benefit of the public, I will be reporting on, I'll be reporting on the events of this meeting and other local news regarding government accountability on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/R2R-R, all lowercase. Disclaimer, before I begin, I want to clarify for the record that my comments today are based on my personal observations, my interpretation of public records, and my understanding of the Ohio Ethics Guidelines. These statements represent my own opinions and concerns as a citizen. They are alleged in nature, intended to seek transparency, and are not to be taken as definitive findings of fact alone. At a previous meeting, I asked this board for feedback on news reporting and government accountability. Trustee Davis gave a good response. Trustee Seavey mentioned passing it by the lawyer, and the rest were silent. I never heard back from any of the trustees, other than the law director, who's not a trustee, but who walked with me in the hallway after that meeting. In conversation, he suggested that I should show up to meetings and make public records requests to hold government accountable. While valid, I'm concerned that the law director's firm, where he's a partner, likely makes money on the processing of those very suggestions. He did not mention accountability tasks with much less likelihood of a financial payout for his firm, such as protesting, gathering signatures, challenging false narratives, or other government accountability and news reporting tasks. The action that I've taken prior to the last meeting, I wrote the law director an email prior to the last meeting, which I forwarded to the trustee and the board, asked for a simple resolution that he formally disclose any financial link his firm has to the suggested services that were made either during or after a public meeting, so that it can be noted in the minutes. I would much prefer to resolve this through direct transparency rather than escalating this matter to the Ohio Ethics Commission or the Board of Professional Conduct or other state agencies and boards. Legal standards in closing. I want to close by recognizing the standards set in New York Times CO versus Sullivan, 1964, and Rosenblatt versus Baird, 1966. These cases affirm The First Amendment protects the right of citizens to engage in uninhibited, robust, and wide-open debate, even when it involves sharp criticism of public officials. Specifically, Rosenblatt clarifies that these protections apply to any official with substantial responsibility for government affairs, which certainly includes a law director. I am asking today, will the law director make this financial disclosure for the record, or must we seek a formal opinion from the state to ensure our local government is operating within the integrity we expect? Thank you.
Mr. Miller? If I can understand in 20 seconds or less, Mr. Gates, basically what do you want? You experienced something to where you felt like he told you, here's what you should do, get more records, because if you get more records, he makes more money because that's part of what he does, or?
Yes, my concern is he made suggestions in which his law firm that he's a partner in would benefit, and that should have triggered a financial disclosure at the time of the suggestion. That financial disclosure did not come. I emailed both him and the board asking that he address this in the next meeting. That was the last meeting. There was no mention of it. I've received no response from anyone on the board, no response from the law director that I know of, and I'm seeking a local de-escalated resolution to what is a very serious matter in my mind. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, that a financial disclosure was not required. I put in a number of records requests to Skylar to try to research that and volunteer my time to find out the truth. To me, it's common sense, should have been a disclosure, but I know my common sense and law don't always line up. I just started getting those records from Skylar recently. The request was put in prior to last meeting, so we're looking at weeks now. And so I didn't have the time to do all that research, because it takes a lot of research just to find out if this fails today, what do I have to go through next, and how do I protect myself from either any kind of defamatory statement that I'm trying to avoid, and that's where the Sullivan, the cases like
Because you think he was unethical in giving you what options you would freely have, as anyone would have.
Not that I think he was unethical. I have concerns and questions of whether he was unethical when he made suggestions to me that were very specific. There's a lot of things he can do with government accountability. He named two things that I understand he profits off of indirectly through his law firm, which he's a partner. There's been no financial disclosure on that day, or that I know of officially on the record on any day going forward. I'm just asking for today, 2-minute statement, not a smile and a shake of the head, which I look at as a little bit disrespectful from a lawyer, but a statement from him on the record stating either I'm wrong and this is why, or yes, I had a shortcoming, long day, whatever it was, I overlooked it, I should have given a financial disclosure. We have received and processed some of those requests since I've talked to you about that, and we have profited on it. And I think that would be sufficient to satisfy myself, in addition to notifying the public, that we, on the second-hand chance, did the right thing.
But this was a conversation, one minute. But this was a conversation that you had with the attorney. The meeting was finished, this was after everyone was going out, and you guys engaged in a conversation?
No, my understanding that is when he engaged me, he wasn't...
No. You were at that meeting. It happened here, correct? I'm going off of your comments right in the beginning.
The part where I asked for your all's feedback on news reporting and government accountability happened within the meeting.
Right, the conversation that you had, supposedly that you had with him, where he suggested getting records requests in, and you're thinking, yeah, because you make money when we do this records request, because he has to redact and go through that, which of course, in order to protect the innocent, we do have to go through and look at that. But that conversation that you had with him, was that here, or was that outside of here, down the hall somewhere else, and the meeting was finished? I'm just trying to remember.
Just for clarity, I think what you may be getting at in the end run, which I did have time to research, was whether Brian was acting in his capacity as a Delhi law director.
I'm not going there. Don't read my mind. Don't read my mind.
So
I'm not going there.
So whether
I'm asking you one question.
Yes, sir.
Did that conversation take place here, or was that outside of here? The meeting was over and you two engaged. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm just trying to piece it together, as you have done a great job piecing it together, you know, in your mind, what happened. I'm just trying to understand.
That sounds like multiple questions, but to address the
Just
first
give me one
question,
answer. Did it happen here, or did it happen outside the meeting? That's all I'm asking.
my understanding is it started here and continued throughout the hallway, and that conversation continued outside as well.
Not during the meeting.
It was not during the meeting, or it was?
I would classify it as an extension of the meeting.
Was the meeting closed?
I would think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so when you saw the lawyer, and again, I'm not defending, I'm just trying to understand it. It was not in here, it was maybe a passing comment as you're walking out from the meeting.
No, it certainly wasn't a passing comment. This was, my understanding is he was addressing me directly with regard to me addressing the board, asking a question about news and government accountability. There's no question in my mind, based on the research I did, that he was acting in his capacity as a law director of the High
Now I
Council.
understand it, now I got it. Do you have anything you want to add?
Not really, because we're frankly wasting citizen time, which by the way I get paid for, so I guess I should be thanking Mr. Gage for his theory of how I get paid. But leaving that aside, there is a resolution, I get paid by the hour, I get paid to defend Delhi. That's out there, you've been given a copy of that I'm aware of. You can see the financial disclosure laws do not apply to me. So you send something to the Ethics Commission, that's why you don't have a response from the Ethics Commission, because they don't apply to me. When we had a conversation over there, I tried to answer your question honestly. You want public accountability? Make public records requests, or whatever else it is that you want to do. But guess what? My response had been, don't make public record requests. We darn well would have a different argument. You get up here claiming that the lawyer said I should stop making public record requests.
Are you putting this on me, lawyer guy? Because for you to start off by saying,
you're not going to interrupt me,
shut
sir.
your mouth.
You have
This is
the
my time. Is this my time, sir?
No, it is not.
Whose time is this? Is this my time or this crap time?
If you wanted a response, he's giving you a response, so let him
I want
give
my
it.
time back. I want to reclaim my time.
Your time is over 4 minutes ago, so don't go there.
All right, I'm out then.
No, I'm giving you time to finish this and bring closure. That's all.
What, did I do something illegal, sir?
You didn't do anything. He's just.
Well, he
he's
got
just-
up like he needs to address me when this guy's putting me down.
Okay.
We
we're
aren't,
trying-
when
we're
a
trying to
citizen
get
brings up a concern, apparently out of ignorance,
He's
of a
responding
violation,
to the question that you asked. He has every right to
saying that
respond.
I'm wasting citizens' time.
No one said you're wasting citizens' time.
He said somebody's wasting citizens'
We
time.
give everybody 5 minutes. I'm on 11 minutes. So we're trying to be good about this to hear what's going on. So let him finish his comment. You can disagree all you want, but firing back disrespectfully to him saying, "Oh, lawyer guy, that's disrespectful too." So let's call it as it is.
It's a
Let him
different
finish his
association
response.
going on here.
What was it?
Different association.
It might be, but you've asked him a question. He's trying to give you the answer. So
He
you
doesn't
cannot
need
agree with
to
it, but
insult
just-
me when he gives the answer.
What was it?
He does not need to insult me and say we're wasting citizen time when I bring up a question of ethics. That's inappropriate. And him up there smirking and smiling right now in the smart ass way he's doing it is inappropriate. It's not professional. I won't pay somebody $10 for that. Certainly not $2.85 an hour to get up there and laugh at a citizen raising a legitimate concern. Whether it's right or wrong, it's legitimate, it's from the heart, and it's real. And he's
He has
laughing
a
at me.
legitimate right to respond to your legitimate concern. That's all I'm saying. Let him finish his sentence or two without interrupting him saying, "Okay, lawyer boy, that doesn't resolve anything. That resolves nothing. That's disrespectful too. Okay? We're just trying to bring peace here."
I understand you're on his side. I don't think it is okay.
If any on side that I'm on his right side right now. That's the only side. I'm not on any side. There's no side to be on here. You are raising what you consider to be a legitimate concern. He is answering to your legitimate concern. Is that on taxpayer time? It sure is. We're in the middle of a public meeting. It happens. It's government at work.
So we are wasting
No,
the people's
he's
time.
saying that this is when it's going to happen. This is when it should be happening.
He didn't say anything about wasting people's time?
Not a waste of time, maybe a waste of thinking that there are other things that he could be answering to, but he's trying to answer your question. So you feel that, and you shouldn't be disrespected, nor should he be disrespected. Okay? Can he finish?
You run the meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Brian, do you have anything else?
Mr. Chair, thank you. And to the extent that I take the bait, I apologize, because I don't want to do anything or say anything that reflects adversity on this township or the trustees. I'll simply say that clearly Mr. Gages knows how much we get paid per hour. He just said it, $285. It is very clear that we get paid by resolution. It outlines everything we do. And yes, I get paid by the hour, which has been that relationship for however many years it's been, 10 or 11. And if I have a legal issue to respond to, the township pays me like it would pay any other contractor for work. And I am proud of our work. I am proud of how we've represented this township throughout.
See how he speaks to the board? He doesn't speak to the citizen.
That this board has continued to retain both me and the law firm. And we will continue to provide the excellent service that we do.
Him and the law firm,
And
big money.
Again, I would reiterate to the public that if people make public records requests, that is a way to check and hold people accountable. That's my opinion. Whether it's the trustee's opinion or not is irrelevant. That's my opinion. And if public records requests are made, then yes, we redact them. Because guess what? If we let something out that isn't public record, then the township could be held liable. So I have to be worried about that as well. And again, I would ask the public, if I were to have a conversation with Mr. Gages to say, don't make public record requests and don't exercise your
Total dodge,
rights,
red herring.
there'd be a much different argument. So I appreciate the board. I have tried to answer the question. The financial disclosure laws do not apply to me, and regardless, every financial disclosure is in that. I get paid $285 an hour for everything that I do. I bill it. They see a month, an invoice every month, and I am proud of every second of work that I do for this township. Thank you.
Mr. Gages, were you aware that the financial disclosure laws do not apply to him? Did you know that, or are you contesting that, or?
I knew some financial disclosure laws did not apply to him. I learned part through research of my own voluntary time. I learned part through contacting a government agency, which I carbon copy him on. I think in good spirit, if what he says today is truth, that he could have simply emailed me this truth, and we might have had a different outcome today. But the emotion he showed today, just the way he pushed away his microphone, and the way that I think he covered up that he said, I'll go back on the video, it's on video, he talked about wasting people's time, and I think it was directed at a shot at me that was a low ball shot. I came here in good faith to make a good faith complaint about a real concern about one of the highest paid people per hour in our township. We talk about financial, we just passed a big levy that's gonna cost me about $260 a year. So we're putting the money out there, the citizens are throwing me the money, and when we bring up an accountability concern, last thing I want is this guy, whose normal posture is like this, at $285 an hour. I watch you all, I did a thing on it, when I had a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Respectful, respect, super respectful, disrespectful. And you ought to be held accountable for it. At $285 an hour, when there's a moment of silence for a figure like Charlie Kirk who was murdered for free speech, he ought to be showing some respect. And if you need a lesson on respect, I'm glad to give it for free, sir. It's disrespectful what you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Gates.
And you want to get up like you're going to use force upon me for exercising my freedom of speech?
I would just say to the public.
You, yes.
We appreciate.
Is that what you're doing?
The board's transparency.
Appreciate the board, always about the board. What about the citizen? Citizen pays the board.
Articulate things in a way that the public will understand, and I also appreciate the board's support and wanting to.
It's a problem. If that's true, it's a problem. He don't have to financially disclose.
Very good. Thank you. And the others, and you, Mr. Gages, thank you for coming up.
Thank you for listening. I apologize if I was out of line in any way. I'm very passionate about my work, and I get put down a lot. Last person I want put down by is someone who I'm paying to help, $285 an hour for someone whose services, if I lived in a free society, I would never be a participant in paying that
I
salary.
agree 100%. Everyone that comes up to the podium should be respected, just like anyone here on this side of the podium should be respected. So I think we're all on the same page. And but more so, thanks for coming up and venting it here. This is where you get stuff done, you know. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, these are going to be 2 emails I sent after tonight's meeting where I voiced concerns related to Delhi Law Director ethics concerns. Dear Board and Law Director Brian Paccio, legal disclaimer and notice: following communication is protected expression of opinion and good faith inquiry into the conduct of public officials on a matter of significant public concern. All statements regarding potential conflicts of interest or ethical obligations are based on my personal observations and interpretation of the Ohio Revised Code and the Ohio Rules of Professional Conduct. These statements are not intended to be definitive findings of fact or legal conclusions, but rather formal requests for public clarification and transparency. This communication is made in the spirit of government accountability as protected by the First Amendment and the standards established in New York Times Co. versus Sullivan and Rosenblatt versus Baer. Can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he knows who he is. He recently introduced those to me in one of his videos. I did some research and included here. It played a role. This was written with the assistance of Gemini AI. Following my comments at the recent public meeting, I'm writing to formally address the law director's statement that financial disclosure laws do not apply to his position. While the law director may be technically exempt from filing an annual financial disclosure statement with the Ohio Ethics Commission, as a township-appointed official, this does not exempt him from the substantive ethics laws that apply to all public servants in the state of Ohio. I would like to bring the following points to the board's attention for the public record. ORC 102.03 D and E, Ohio law prohibits any public official from using the authority or influence of their office to secure anything of value for themselves or a business associate. If the law director suggests that a citizen engage in a process such as public records request that result in billable hours for his private firm, this creates a potential conflict under the thing of value provision of the revised code. Ohio Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 1.7, and I'm a little surprised I didn't include another rule in here that's either 1.5 or 1.6 that should have been applicable as well. Anyway, as an attorney, the law director has a duty to avoid concurrent conflicts of interest where his personal financial interest or those of his firm could materially limit his independent professional judgment. The Rosenblatt standard, as clarified in Rosenblatt versus Baer, individuals with substantial responsibility for government affairs are public officials subject to public scrutiny, providing legal and procedural guidance to constituents is an official act that requires the highest level of transparency. My request is simple. To ensure the integrity of Delhi Township governance, I am asking for a formal public disclosure of the financial relationship between the law director's firm and the township's records fulfillment process. Public knowledge does not equal ethical disclosure. I actually thought this part up here was a little different, but that version looks like it didn't get in here. Public disclosure, because I did ask for something a little different, maybe it comes up below. Public knowledge does not equal ethical disclosure, because he's trying to make the case, it sounded like to me, that, hey, all my financial disclosures are already public knowledge. But we're going to see later what that means. Just because a piece of information is technically discoverable in a public record doesn't mean the official has fulfilled their duty to disclose a conflict. The law, ORC 102.03, requires an official to be proactive. If they're in a position to influence a decision or suggest an action that benefits them, they must state that conflict on the record at that time. I prefer to resolve this locally and transparently. However, if the position remains that ethical disclosure laws do not apply, I will have no choice but to seek a formal advisory opinion from the Ethics Commission and a review by the Board of Professional Conduct to clarify these obligations for the benefit of all Delhi residents. I'd appreciate a response by 5/20, include my YouTube channel. After that, I decided to send a separate email to talk about, in essence, his unprofessionalism, and more specifically, his comment that the way I read it was that my ethics concern being articulated in a public meeting was, in his view, a waste of citizens' time. So let's address that in this email. Please note that this communication is a continuation of my previous inquiry, the legal disclaimer and notice of protected expression provided in my initial email applied to the entire correspondence thread. I'm writing to follow up on the responses provided during the recent public meeting. Specifically, I must formally address the law director's dismissive assertions that the meeting to the effect that inquiries into government accountability and ethical transparency are a waste of the public's time. As a public official, the law director has a fundamental duty to respect the First Amendment right of citizens to petition their government for a redress of grievances. Characterizing a constituent's request for financial transparency as wasteful is not only unprofessional, but it suggests a fundamental misunderstanding of the Rosenblatt versus Baer 1966 standard. This legal precedent clarifies that public officials, especially those with substantial responsibility like a law director, must expect their conduct to be subject to inhibited, I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't say that word, inhibited, robust and wide open debate. That's bothering me. I can't say that. We'll read it right now. If the law director finds the burden of public accountability burdensome or wasteful, it reflects a dismissive attitude toward the very public he has sworn to serve. This is a significant concern for the following reasons. Constitutional integrity. A law director should be the primary defender of the public's right to participate in local government, not the primary obstacle to it. Professional standards. Under the Ohio Rules of Professional Conduct, a lawyer's behavior should be characterized by professional courtesy and respect for the legal system. Hostility toward public scrutiny undermines the integrity of the township's legal office. If the position of this board and its counsel remains that citizens' inquiry is an unproductive use of time, then it is clear that local transparency is broken down. I am prepared to bring this matter and the dismissive manner in which it was handled to the Board of Professional Conduct and the Office of Disciplinary Counsel to ensure that the standards of the legal profession are upheld in Delhi Township. Again, a response by May 20th. I also include the legal disclaimer as a footer, if you will. And that's what I sent out tonight. Appreciate anyone that made it through the whole thing or that made it through the key sections. God bless. World peace. And frankly, fuck all the corporations and the government agencies that are screwing over the little guy and those that even consider themselves middle class. Peace.